Yeah.
is subject to
L-
some limits.
Some limitations, yeah.
Exactly.
When I was actually looking at just during my preparation, I tried to look at the origin of vaccinations.
Yeah.
And I realized that the first vaccination was actually produced in 1798. So that simply means that vaccinations have been part of this. And that was not actually done in South Africa, it was done overseas.
Yeah.
Now, my understanding was that in South Africa, it came later than that. And people have not really been against vaccinations as such, and it has not been made mandatory in that case. I mean, I have children. I've had children for a number of years, and all my children were vaccinated.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
was never a point
Yeah.
where I felt like I was being forced for my children to be vaccinated.
True.
And is the COVID-19 the condition itself? Is it so important that it's different from smallpox? Because if it kills, it kills.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
smallpox will kill. And
Indeed. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's why people are questioning this vaccination programs
yeah,
to say what's so special about this.
yeah.
Why are we likely to be forced?
Mm. Hey. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. And that is exactly my question. Are we South Africans sleeping? Because ever since it has been actually mentioned, or because the discussion itself has been on the cards for some time, and it looks like people are not really worried about that or raising such kind of issues. Are we so comfortable as the country or as people to say, no, it's okay, the government can do what they can do, the politicians can go on and think on our behalf and still implement things that may actually be contested in law? We are okay with that. Is it a situation where you feel, from the law perspective, you feel like, do we have or do we understand the constitution enough to be able to sort of push and say, this is against my will as an individual, or it's infringing on my constitutional right? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. It's not an easy thing. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Yeah. I think that kind of discussion we will actually deal with it in part 2, because we will be more focused on that part. But I'm just looking at the Bill of Rights here in terms of freedom and security of a person. It says everybody has the right to freedom and security of the person, which includes the right not to be deprived of freedom arbitrarily or without just cause. These compulsory vaccinations are also coming with attachments of vaccination certificates. It looks like there's going to be a lot of graduations these days with certificates. Does this really mean that it looks like the government is going all out to try their best to violate the same constitution that they should uphold? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. They're trading carefully. Mm. 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 You know what I'm just pondering about. Um, this is a constitution that is approved and that is implementable, and it's continuing to be implemented in the country. And the government, as the custodian of communities, they are well aware that our communities, not all of them are literate enough to understand what the constitution says. When things like this come up, why is government not educating its own citizens around the issues of these rights that are enshrined in the constitution,
Yeah.
and be able to come back and talk these limitations in a manner that the communities would understand?
Yeah. No, yeah, no, you're very right. I think the issue of education is a challenge
Yeah.
in our country. You are very right that one would have expected this government long ago to thoroughly teach. You remember the discussion that I had with you?
Yeah.
It's like I nearly deviated from law but to politics
Yeah.
to say, why do you force vaccination and not force going to school?
Mm. Education,
Yeah,
children are just.
I mean, we shouldn't be blinded to other serious challenges that we have as a nation
Mm.
that are maybe far, 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 far from how serious COVID might be.
Yeah.
With issues of crime,
Mm.
and if one can trace the causes thereof, some emanate from the fact that there is lack of education.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back to your issue of education to say, indeed,
Mm.
the government should educate people on the Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
And then, yes, when you come and say, no, we are limiting these based on this and that, you are addressing people who already know what their rights are.
Mm.
But now you are dealing with people who don't even know their rights.
Ish.
You are dealing with people who don't even know their rights.
Yeah.
You ask yourself that in our local government structures, in our wards, our municipalities and all that,
Yeah.
are people being educated?
Mm.
Do they know? Do they know this? Do they know this constitution?
The supreme law of the land.
Do they know it?
Yeah.
Maybe the answer it's no, they don't.
Yeah.
So it's very, very imperative that people should know about their rights, so that they can, wherever they are in their corners, Sometimes you don't even need to go to court, but
Yeah.
wherever you are, you can say no.
Let's have this conversation.
Yeah, you can say no. Why? Why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
The constitution says I've got a right of security of a person. I've got a right to say no.
Yeah.
To whatever that you want to do in my body, and I'm saying no.
Hey. And that would be it might just not be good for government for implementation of certain things.
Yes.
But it will be good for communities to be able to be educated enough.
Yeah.
To be able to make choices of yes and no without any coercion.
Yes, yes. Because you are very right. The issue of informed decision.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about informed decision where there is no information.
Yeah.
You get informed, you get information, knowledge, and then you say yes or no based on the information, the knowledge that you have.
Yeah.
But your no and your yes, if it's not guided by knowledge, then you are like someone who don't even have an option because you do not know.
And that's where you would find the government saying communities are rejecting or rebelling.
Yes.
Because they just don't have enough information. And if there is anything else that the communities are afraid of, they would now be saying no because out of fear, rather than saying no out of informed kind of knowledge.
Indeed. And some people will be saying no out of their religious convictions. So how do you balance that? How do you balance my right, my freedom of religion against this forced vaccination?
Yeah.
How do you balance that? I'm not calling upon people to be ignorant and reckless.
Hey.
I'm not saying people should be reckless or ignorant, but I'm saying are we then taking our people back to the apartheid era where we didn't have rights, where we were subjected to laws that oppressed us?
I always hear even politicians saying our constitution is the most progressive constitution in the world.
In the world. But let us see that. Let us see that now. Now the time has come for us to see.
For it to go through this kind of test.
Yeah, because people should not uphold, protect, and promote this constitution when it favors them.
Yeah.
Or when it favors, I'll say this with caution, but when it favors maybe their pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let the constitution be the constitution. Akiri, they say it's their Bible.
Yeah.
So let this Bible prevail, even during the times like this. We're not saying people should be reckless.
Yeah.
But why are you forcing people?
Mandate. So if you seek a mandate,
yes,
it means you have asked for permission.
Yes.
If politicians are going for the elections, they all go back to their constituencies and seek the mandate.
Yes.
So that they can be able to implement what the people have given them.
Yeah, they are mandated.
They are mandated.
Yeah.
Now, mandatory vaccination. Who has given that kind of mandate? Before you answer this question, let us take a short break. When we come back, we will start from there. Thank you so much for being with us. We are taking a short break. Mr. Gogome will be with us when we come back, and we will continue with this conversation. Do you want to start a creche or a daycare center? Or maybe you and your staff want to improve your skills and qualifications in early childhood development? EduBuild Institute Thohoyandou campus is your answer. We have 20 years experience in skills development and offer professional training courses for ECD level 4 and 5. You don't need prior training or even matric certificate to register. Our classes are on Saturdays at TCN Center in Zwerani. Upon completion, you will be registered with the South African Council of Educators, or SAIS in short. Registration for 2022 is open. Remember, no matric certificate is required. Call us on 068-392-1730, or you can WhatsApp us on the same number, 068-392-1730. EduBuild Institute, Thohoyandou campus. situated at TCN Center, Zweran. EduBuild. Reach, teach, and build a child today. Welcome back to Resuscitation Leadership Conversations. We are coming to you live from Greater Glory International Ministries, right here in Roodepoort. My name is Mano Ramadwa, and we come to you live every single Sunday. Around this time at 5 o'clock, we continue with these conversations. I am with my guest, Advocate Gogome. Now look at it. I still continue to say advocate. You see, I'm bringing our offline conversations into.
It's okay. It's okay.
He is an attorney, and coming from Gogome Attorneys, we are breaking down the legalities of mandatory vaccinations. We were talking about this when I said
the mandate.
The mandate.
Yeah.
Now, whose mandate are we?
Yeah.
If communities themselves are saying, ask me for my permission.
Yeah, we're mandating ourselves. The government is mandating itself. Yeah, it's being the principal and the agent at the same time.
Yeah. So, in a situation like this, we have seen it throughout the world. We have seen in countries where these mandatory vaccinations have already begun. We have seen communities rebelling and rejecting, and this basically leads to violence. Is this kind of situation, as the government is, if they continue with this conversation, not conversation, with the implementation, are they not in a way violating the constitution that says we cannot actually go on to create violence in this kind of situation? Because if they are met by rejection of communities, that might actually lead to violence when other people will be protecting their own their own bodies one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, in South Africa, it's not new. It's not a new thing for communities to stand and reject the loss of the administration of the time.
Yeah.
In apartheid era, obviously, we had a lot of uprisings. The famous one, the Soweto uprising in the 1976. It was caused by things like this. Remember, they wanted to force
the women's march.
The women's march.
August as well.
Yeah. So you recall that particularly with the youth uprising.
Yeah.
They were rejecting the implementation of teaching in Afrikaans.
Yeah. True.
And they say, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And what happened?
That forceful implementation.
And we all know what happened.
Exactly.
Every year we commemorate June 16.
And we commemorate
for what happened.
And we with pride.
With pride.
And that is another thing that I find very interesting with this kind of situation.
Yeah, with pride to say, had they not rejected the proposed law the way they rejected it,
yeah,
we wouldn't be here where we are today. I would be sitting here with you speaking in Afrikaans. This book would have been written in Afrikaans. So they rejected it. So it's not a new thing. And I think the government should be careful, to say, and this is very important now.
Yeah.
You are dealing with people who have not yet healed.
People who have this background of being forced on every aspect of their lives.
This is a wounded society.
This is a wounded society.
And this is a society that knows that there is power in uprisings. And you don't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
We don't want to see blood on the streets of this country again. So government should be very careful. Because when you are talking about this vaccination, I think we have all seen in different media spaces.
Yeah.
I'm not authenticating maybe what we have seen, maybe on Facebook and all that.
Yeah.
But we have seen stories of people saying that, no, my so-and-so was very well before vaccinating.
Yeah.
She or he went for vaccination.
And then suddenly
the
health deteriorated.
And succumbed to.
And these are authentic stories
Yeah,
that you
so-
cannot dispute by a piece of paper.
Imagine going to the very same household
Yeah.
and say, we are here to force you to vaccinate.
Mm.
Do you think that those people will accept vaccination with the welcoming hands? I
Yeah.
doubt. I doubt.
But I also this is what I also think,
Yeah,
because if you are looking at the law
yeah,
that seeks to unite the people,
yeah,
and then you come back and you say mandatory vaccinations,
yeah.
you are in a way dividing the same people that you seek to unite using the same constitution.
Indeed, indeed so.
Because on the one hand, there would be people who are saying we want to be vaccinated and continue to do that, and there will be others who say no, we don't want to be vaccinated. And in that space, you're pushing one group of people against the other.
Against the,
And
indeed.
that on its own, it has shown in a country like ours, it keeps on showing in other countries as well, that it's a recipe for disaster.
You divide them, and you also come to a point where you segregate them.
Yeah.
You discriminate them.
Mm.
You say, no, these are the vaccinated, these are the unvaccinated.
Yeah.
And how do you, and you are dividing them further. You are dividing them further. So how do you go to a community that has lost leaders who were okay but who died after vaccinating?
Yeah.
How do you go and force vaccination to those people? They will reject it straight away.
Yeah.
And when they reject it outside the confines, outside the boundaries of the law,
Yeah.
then you will have problem.
You'll have problem because now you render the same country
Yeah.
a lawless kind of country.
Indeed, you will have a problem. And we're living in a country where social media is very powerful.
Mm.
So those are the things that I think our government should look at those things. I mean, okay, the wearing of masks. We have been wearing masks. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Social
we have been
distancing.
distancing. We have been using sanitizers. We have been washing our hands.
Mm.
I mean, we have been following those things.
Yeah.
So, but now when you come to the point of forcing people to take things into their bodies,
Mm. Even though there are questions around all those protocols, but communities have accepted to say, if this would actually minimize the infections, let us rather even take it, even if it's
Yeah.
something that we disagree with.
yeah,
And communities have been compliant
Yeah.
in terms
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
But the mandatory itself,
yeah, it becomes,
yeah.
I mean, you have got people who do not believe in Western medicine.
Eish.
How do you deal with?
There are, and this is another element.
Yeah.
I touched on it a bit earlier. There are questions within communities where people are saying, you have called for us to vaccinate our children, and our children were vaccinated once.
Yeah,
But with this particular one that you are now trying to force it onto us, it has already emerged that it does not look like it's something that you take now and it's done. It looks like it's recurring.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's going to
yes.
go on and on
yeah,
forever and ever.
yeah,
Now, people are also questioning those kind of things. To
Yeah.
say the other ones we accept,
Mm.
and they have worked, and we did not have to take our children back
Mm.
for more vaccinations. But what is so specific about this one that you want to force,
yeah,
and which almost every 6 months or every year one would have to go back and take?
yeah. And why don't as government look at other forms of fighting against this disease?
Mm.
You know, I lament the fact that there are people who still sleep in an empty stomach.
Yeah.
This is painful it's very painful when I talk about this.
Mm. Yeah.
These people do not have food to eat,
Yeah.
but you want to vaccinate them. You want to force vaccination on them.
Mm.
Why don't you give them proper nutrition,
nutrition?
and I mean, empower their immune system?
And which is a right as well enshrined in the constitution, that they also are deserved of good health
Yes,
and good nutrition.
yes. So
That is why the government has actually brought in nutrition in schools.
you know, we have a lot of issues, and that is why we'll keep on deviating from just discussing the law per se.
Yeah.
Because yes, I'm a lawyer, but I'm a human being.
Mm.
I'm a social being.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues that touch me as well,
Yeah.
that
But
concern me.
which are
Yeah,
still
yeah. So
legally.
yes, those are legal issues. In fact, those are legal issues. In fact,
Yeah.
because people will be questioning that as well to say, okay, you guys, you are forcing us. You are giving this thing is very expensive.
Mm.
Vaccines are expensive.
They're very
This vaccine
expensive.
is expensive.
That is why governments are actually going into debt because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. But these vaccines are reaching us,
Mm.
but yet food is not reaching us.
Yeah.
Water is not reaching us.
Ish. We are expected to wash our hands and
We have
sanitize.
been this democratic government has been in place for more than 25 years.
Yeah.
There are villages in Venda where I come from. They don't have running water.
Mm.
They don't have roads.
Yeah.
But yet you are delivering vaccines to them.
We hearing the stories of Madibeng in the
Yes,
northwest.
yes, yes.
Where they have not actually seen water in a
People
long
are
time.
drinking water from the rivers.
Yeah.
Together with cattle.
Mm.
What a shame.
Yeah. And they have to wash their hands.
What a shame. But yet,
to protect themselves
but
against
yet
the
this
virus.
government is saying they want to force people to vaccinate. What a shame.
Sure.
Give me food.
Yeah.
And my immune system will be better.
Mm.
And it will defend this virus.
Yeah. Eish. It's very interesting when we talk about this, and I believe that this conversation might actually just be opening up your eyes, because at some point, this conversation is going to mature. Right now, it's just a conversation between us. It's a conversation between you
Yes.
and your friends out there. But it's going to get to a point of maturity where it's either compulsory or the compulsory is scrapped through. But it will need people who would definitely be understanding of the law and their rights as it continues.
Yeah, we really need to open these conversations.
Yeah.
People should talk about these issues.
But why does it look like the government gets agitated when people talk about these things?
I think it's a matter of they want to control.
Yeah.
Because if I want to control you, I wouldn't want you to question
Mm.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to question my intentions.
Mm. Mm.
The moment you start questioning, we silence you.
Yeah.
And this is the apartheid style of governance,
Hey.
where you challenge the sitting government, you are silenced.
Yeah.
You cannot question it. If the apartheid police, when they are driving around, the police force,
Yeah.
they see you as young people in groups, they must disperse you.
Yeah.
Because
And-
they are
and make
afraid
sure-
that
make
they're
sure
afraid
that
that,
you
they're afraid that you could be planning something. You could be planning some form of resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't want that.
Hmm.
They don't want that. They want you to comply. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. And it can't be.
Eish.
I mean, societies, wherever we are, churches, civic organizations, wherever we are, we need to open these conversations. People should talk about these things.
Yeah.
Because these things concern our lives.
Mm.
And the very same government, this government is given mandate by people.
By people.
This is the government of people, by people, for people.
Yeah. And the people have said, go and look at our welfare.
Yes. Yes. So people, you remember, I mean, a word of advice.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a contract between you as a citizen, as a voter, and the government.
Yeah.
There's a contract. You have given them mandate
Yeah.
to
5-year
deliver.
mandate.
They must deliver.
Yeah.
If they don't deliver, you take them out.
Eish. And these are things that they get agitated.
And you should
about.
question them in their delivery to say, Emran, hey, I see you are delivering,
Yeah.
but we did not agree on this.
I see.
When I
see
gave you the mandate,
I see the
you-
planes
you-
are landing with loads and loads of vaccines, but
Yeah.
we have never discussed this thing.
yeah, but when you convinced me to vote for you,
Yeah.
this is what you promised me.
And
I entered into this marriage based on this promise.
yeah.
So now you have married me. Now you are a different person.
Yeah.
Then Mren, no, let's sit on the table and discuss. Should I divorce you? Or what? But so these are serious issues.
Yeah.
People should not be taken for a ride. You have got a say.
Mm.
You are in this contract.
Let's take a break. When we come back,
Yeah.
I want us to talk about a very interesting thing. I want us to talk about the disclosure of contents of vaccines. Because that is also another question. We will deal with that when we come back. You don't have to go anywhere, because when we come back, we are actually going to talk about what is contained in the vaccine. Welcome back to Resuscitation Conversations. My name is Mano Ramadwa. We are discussing issues of leadership, issues that are pertinent to the survival of our communities. We do this every Sunday right here at Greater Glory International Ministries, where our studios are based. And I have a guest tonight. We are talking about the legalities of this. And this is exactly where we were actually talking about it. When I buy supplements, whether it's supplements to boost my body, I turn to the back of it and check exactly what is contained in this supplement. If I'm buying food, I look at what is it that is inside of this. But it looks like when it comes to vaccines and things like that, even when people are asking, that kind of disclosure is not coming forth. What's the danger of that? From the government side, so to say.
Yeah, the danger of that is, how do I then make an informed decision?
Yeah.
I don't have information.
Mm.
I don't know what this contains.
Yeah.
What if it contains what I don't
Harmful
need?
substances.
Yeah, harmful to me.
Yeah.
What I don't need, what I do not need in my body.
Mm.
So I should know. And then say, oh, okay, this. Oh, okay. No, I can take it.
Yeah.
This, nah, no.
Because the disclosure of the content,
Yeah.
it also helps you to go and research on what has been indicated as the content of this.
True.
But then also at the same time, there is this part where if you are receiving that with its contents, you also need to know how would this normally react with my body.
True.
In the true sense.
True.
And it looks like when people are asking those questions, the government is not becoming proactive in giving answers to communities about that, and which is basically another violation of the Constitution.
And that's what causes more confusion.
Yeah.
To say, there are a lot of hanging questions
Mm.
that are not answered.
Yeah.
So, with all these unanswered questions, do you expect me
Mm.
to just say yes?
Yeah.
Or to just say no?
Hmm.
What do you expect from me? I've got questions.
Yeah.
Answer me these questions.
Ish.
And then I will take informed decision.
Mm. But also, there is another legal part of this where it looks like the producers or the manufacturers of these vaccines cannot be held liable when anything else goes wrong with my body. Legally, is that sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, we've got disclaimers and all that. I mean, to say, when you take this, you are taking it at your own risk. And that's something that people should know.
That's my point.
Once someone says you are taking it at your own risk, it means that it's risky.
Yeah, you have surrendered your.
You are in, for lack of a better word, you are gambling.
Yeah.
You might win or lose. So it may work or not work. So you should then decide to say, okay, if it doesn't work, then
it's okay.
Let the consequences prevail.
Yeah.
Then if it works, oh, okay, it's okay. It has worked. But I mean, that it comes back to the issue of education.
Yeah.
People should know. We should know.
Mm.
And you know, the government has been providing us with stats as far as the infections,
Yeah.
you know, the death, the recovery, you know, everything around the COVID. Maybe we also need a proper stats on those who vaccinated and experienced serious problems.
Yeah.
Those who I mean, those who vaccinated. I mean, I had a discussion with someone. We're discussing the experiences of vaccination, and this person said to some of us who were there to say, guys, my experience is that if you're not strong,
Yeah.
this thing can kill you.
You can succumb.
Yeah, he said, hey, his experience, because
Yeah,
experiences
everybody will speak about their
yeah,
own lived experience.
their experiences. Yeah. So when you hear such a strong, athletic guy telling you that, hey, this thing is very strong, if you're not strong enough, and you look at yourself to say, hey, it's like I'm not really strong. So there are a lot of questions, and with all these questions, my opinion would be, no one should be forced to take.
Yeah.
No one should be forced. Let people decide.
Yeah.
Because okay, if you don't want to be liable for what might happen after people are vaccinated, why do you force them?
Why do you force them?
Don't force them then.
What is so much of an interest in making people to take this thing that some of them are refusing to take? So is it an issue of flexing the muscles to say, I want to see whether your powers are bigger than mine?
Yeah. Because I respect those who are saying no, they're not ready. Because it's a risk.
Yeah.
Because once you say there's no guarantee, we're not going to be liable for what will happen, then it's a risk.
Yeah, it's a situation of, here is the poison, drink it. I support you.
Yeah. Or you're going for surgery. Yeah. Here's another, I think relevant example.
Yeah.
You're going for surgery.
And you see, that's another thing.
Yeah.
People have to give a mandate.
A consent. They need to consent.
I'm going for this surgery. I am willing to take whatever. The pain that I'm feeling is bigger than what I call the risk. So they sort of count the risk that is there in order for them to take that.
Even if you are not in a position to take to consent yourself,
yeah,
someone will have to consent on your behalf.
On your behalf,
a family member will come and sign the form on your behalf.
Yeah.
So okay, we know that this procedure is a risky one. So there are chances of making it, and also chances of not making it.
Yeah.
But however, we are proceeding with it.
We are proceeding
with
it.
In fact, the form will say this person was explained to. Even the possible, but still, even with the possible consequences, the person says, I consent.
Yeah.
I know that I may not make it, but I know I cannot. It's better for me to go for it.
Yeah.
Because the pain is too much, like you said.
Exactly.
So that's when we talk about informed consent. So, but here where there's a risk, because even here there's a risk.
Yeah.
So why force people to take a risk? I should have the freedom of either taking a risk or not taking the risk.
Yeah.
That should be my freedom.
Because that is going to happen in my body when I'm sitting in my own space. The kind of pain or the kind of joy that I will have out after taking the vaccine, it will definitely be something that I would have to live with for a long time.
Yes. So those are the things that they should look at to say. But is this person in a position to consent?
Yeah.
No. Why? There's no information. Give me information first.
Give me.
Tell me what is contained here.
Yeah.
Give me a proper stat.
Yeah.
I want to see how many vaccinated. In fact, maybe we should also open up a conversation for people who are vaccinated.
Yeah.
To say, what is your experience? The experience that you had. If you were to be given opportunity to vaccinate again, would you vaccinate?
Yeah. That's you're raising a very interesting conversation.
Would you vaccinate?
this is a great conversation
Do
here.
you regret
Yeah.
that you vaccinated? Do you regret the experience?
Mm,
You were okay before vaccination, and do you regret what you experienced?
yeah.
Did you feel like you were dying
y-
after vaccinating?
Yeah.
Do you like the? Do you wish experiencing that
Because
that feeling of dying?
there are people who have, and I can tell you for sure, there are people that I've interacted with who are saying, no, I vaccinated and I feel absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yes.
And
Yes.
and those ones are
Yeah.
giving confidence.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you wake up in the morning
Yeah.
and you are very much on the side of those, and you
Yeah.
feel like maybe I should just book my
Yeah. Yeah.
my slot and go
Yeah.
and vaccinate.
Yeah.
But then you also meet the others who say, hey,
Yeah.
maybe in fact right now it looks like I may not have enough stats around this, but
Yeah.
it looks like there's a huge chunk of people who took the first jab,
Yeah.
but who decided not to go for the second jab.
Yeah.
And I think it's out of the experiences, the lived
Yes.
experiences that
Yeah.
they had.
Yeah.
And it's not many that I have actually interacted with to can draw an assumption.
Mm.
But the few that I've actually had the conversation with, they were saying almost the same thing.
Mm.
But my point here is, if we are saying they need to, there is a need to vaccinate, and we don't disclose the content, and we don't provide more information for people to say, yes, I have seen this and I believe it will actually help me given my body. Or even go to the doctor and say, this thing contains this, and this is my blood type.
Yes.
Do you think
Yes,
there's a danger
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
And the doctors would be able to give such
Yeah.
kind of
Then you will
opinion.
take an informed decision.
Yeah.
Because I doubt if there's enough education around this,
Yeah.
even prior the vaccination.
Mm.
Because I doubt if people are even properly trained
Mm.
to give counseling
Yeah.
prior to vaccination, information prior to. Thorough information.
I love.
I'm not talking about just touching, say, like what people do when you sign for insurance.
Mm.
You
Just
don't
quick.
quick your
to get your
initial
signature.
sign here, then you go through.
I remember when I was doing my HIV test back in the day. I've done so many of those. Sometimes forced by the insurance and things
Yes,
like that.
yes.
But every time when I went, just before I could actually get my blood drawn,
Yeah.
or just before they could actually just do that rapid test, they would give me so much information, 15 to 20 minutes of counseling to say, you must understand, you may have tested last week and you were negative.
Yeah.
The likelihood is,
Yeah.
if there is something that had happened in
Yeah.
between, you might test positive today.
Yeah.
And if you do test positive, these are the things. So there were lots and lots of conversations just before that, and to give information.
Yes.
And with this particular one, looks like and it feels more like information is not really coming forth,
Yeah.
and what is being given remains questionable.
And it's like there's this agency,
Yeah.
which is really questionable.
Mm.
Say why the agency? Yes, we understand that. COVID has been very bad.
Yeah.
It killed a lot of people.
Mm.
But again, we are told that vaccination doesn't guarantee that you won't be infected again.
Yeah.
Yes, you will be infected, but it may not be serious
Mm.
if you are not vaccinated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the scientists and
Yeah.
the doctors are saying that
Yeah.
we should,
But
actually-
again, they also differ as well.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
They also differ in their opinions. So after all, I think there are a lot of views on this issue. People should talk about this issue, and we should also look at other alternatives.
Yeah.
Other alternatives. Another issue. Maybe we may not have time to deal with it,
Yeah.
and it may not be within our scope. But is that most of us are not healthy.
Yeah.
This
in South
COVID,
Africa- in
this
South
COVID
Africa-
exposed that.
Yeah. If you just look at that, in South Africa, the stats
Yeah.
that have been actually punted all the time.
Yeah.
was that a lot of people are living with lifestyle diseases. And it looks like COVID-19 enjoys lifestyle, the company of lifestyle diseases. And now you're forcing people who have such, and one way or another,
The immune system is already
compromised.
suppressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have things like diabetes. It suppresses your immune system.
Mm.
So you take, I mean, a strong medication.
Yeah.
It may worsen. Remember, vaccine is a virus.
Yeah. It's yeah.
It's a virus that is going to fight the virus.
Yeah. Eish.
So you are in a virus inserted in your body, and then it's going to fight another virus. So if it gets into your body and your body is weak, your immune system is weak,
Mm.
it may damage you further.
But
But these are the things that we need to.
Let's just look at. I know we are running out of time.
Okay.
But there are two things that I still want us to look at. I know from the Constitution side we have spoken about the legalities of how people's rights seem to be violated by the possibility of mandatory vaccines. But the state of disaster, does the state of disaster replace the Constitution at a time of the state of disaster from the legal point of view?
No, it doesn't. But what it does, it limits certain rights.
Yeah.
For example, during the lockdown, our right of movement was limited.
Mm.
You couldn't go wherever you want to go. I mean, you were limited.
But there was a justification for that.
Yes, hence I'm saying the limitation.
Yeah.
So there was a justification for the limitation. But to answer your question, it should not replace the Constitution.
Mm.
There is no law that should replace the Constitution.
The Constitution remains above all.
It remains above, and every law will be tested against the Constitution.
Mm.
So if it doesn't pass the test of the Constitution, that law will be declared invalid.
Yeah.
So that is why we've got a lot of laws in our land that were declared invalid. They were somewhere abolished,
Yeah.
So why? Because they were not in line with the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because remember, the government has the mandate to protect, promote, and respect the Bill of Rights, the rights that are enshrined in the Bill of Rights.
Before we close, there is an issue of freedom of religion, belief, and opinion.
Yeah.
You have touched a little bit on that. There are people who have chosen not to vaccinate and who are choosing not to vaccinate based on this right itself.
Yeah.
And having to make it mandatory for them, you're violating something that cannot be regulated.
Yeah.
The issue of religion.
This
is spiritual.
Yeah.
How do you regulate something so spiritual?
But though in our government there's a commission. Remember the commission that regulates. That's trying to So the government tries to regulate and control these things. But again, rights should not really be treated in isolation from others. Because though one has freedom of religion and everything, but you also need to respect the right of others.
Yeah.
Like, for example, now we're saying people should wear their masks and everything. So one should respect that, or expected to respect that, also by looking at the rights of the next person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are not in isolation, but limiting, but you need to justify the limit.
In that way, you're simply saying, even though I don't believe in a mask, but I'm going to be sitting next to someone who feels uncomfortable, then I should just put on my mask in favor of that person.
But again, another funny thing is that I'm sitting with you here.
Yeah.
Let's say you are wearing your mask and I'm not wearing my mask.
Yeah.
Who is at risk?
You, who is not wearing the
So
mask.
why should you force me to wear a mask?
But I wanted to come to that because you know, when you at a discussion now at community level and amongst friends, you will realize that if you are vaccinated and I'm not vaccinated, the argument would now come and say, no, you must do it for me, or you must do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
So these things are almost similar.
I've seen crazy things. I've seen crazy things. You see a guy driving alone in his car wearing a mask,
Yeah.
closing the windows. He's alone in his car and he's wearing a mask. You ask yourself, what is this guy protecting himself from?
Yeah.
There are a lot of,
his space, he believes his space is already contaminated. So.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions around this thing. So, hence, we need to open this thing to say, who's protecting who?
Yeah.
Are you protecting me who's not wearing a mask? Or you are protecting yourself?
Yeah.
But if you believe in the effectiveness, the protectiveness of your mask,
yeah,
why should you have a problem with someone who's not wearing a mask? And remember, I mean, there are people who are having complications from this mask.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues. And maybe one will agree with the former minister that indeed this is a test, this is a trial.
Yeah.
I mean, we all don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the government is also in that space of not really they don't really know what works and what doesn't work.
And that becomes very dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially for the constituency that have actually put them into this space where they should know.
Yeah.
Because if you are now in government and you are leading people,
yeah,
you should actually make all efforts to understand what you're actually saying and understand particularly that which you're forcing people to do.
Maybe on the other platform we'll talk about fear.
We will actually have this conversation for a very long time. But I just want to for you to brief the viewer out there in terms of the services that you actually give as Gogome attorneys before we even close.
No, thank you very much. At Gogome attorneys, we provide, mainly the following services. We assist you with your claims against the Road Accident Fund.
Yeah.
We assist you with administration of deceased estate, and we can also assist you with divorce matters.
Yeah.
So those are the areas that we mainly touch. And also, if you were unlawfully arrested and detained or maliciously prosecuted, so we can also assist you in those kind of matters. So we do even other things, but we mainly deal with those.
Yeah.
So if you come for us to us for those, then you are coming to the specialists.
Obviously, there are contacts that you people would actually be able to get you from.
011 333 0018, 011 333 0018, and they can also visit our website www.gogomeinc.co.za,
www.gogomeinc.co.za.
Inc is INC.
Yeah,
it's one word, Gogome Inc.
And emails and all that will be found.
Yeah, they can also check our Facebook page, Gogome Incorporated.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming through. We will meet next week when we do part 2 of this, where we are touching on the issues of mandatory vaccines in the workplace.
In the workplace. Thank you very much.
This is how we close it for tonight. But before we close it, I just want you to just have a taste of what you can actually read about. This is called Imprisoned by Yourself. Many times people would actually lock themselves up in prisons. And as an author, I have found an opportunity to try and rectify such kind of things with you and for you. Vaccines don't seem to be going anytime soon. COVID-19 does not seem to be phasing out in many other ways. But there's a beauty in how this thing is actually happening. The recovery rate is huge. And I always encourage you to believe in the one who has created this body, who is God above all, the Almighty, who has created you, because He is the only one who is able to turn the situation of your health to a better kind of health. All others are just wisdoms that people have been given by the same God. but you have to do all that you can to take care of yourself. We will meet again next week. Otherwise, you can check on me on www.manoramadwa.com and see our services. Or you can go on to Resuscitation Coach on Facebook, on Twitter, and everywhere else. You will be able to get in touch with me. For tonight, let us say goodbye, and we will meet again next week, same time, when I will be coming back with attorney Kharikhode Gogome discussing these mandatory vaccines in the workplace. Good night.